Guys, my new racket just isn't meant to be.
Yeah, it's like the gods are like, no, she could not leave the pure arrow.
Oh my gosh. Welcome to Talk Tennis. In today's episode, we have Amina Bektis. Welcome to Talk Tennis.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
And Troy is here in studio.
Yeah.
We are going to find Amina's soulmate when it comes to rackets today. That's our mission.
Yep.
Mission accepted.
Please help.
Or like on the message boards, we're going to find the Holy Grail.
We're going to find her holy grail. But before we get into that, I have to give you guys a little background on Amina. She is an American tennis player. Where are you from originally, Amina?
So born in Germany, but my family's Bosnian, and then we moved to the States when I was 5.
Oh,
So,
dang.
yeah.
That explains a lot.
Yeah.
That explains. She has had a stellar standout year on the WTA, career high on singles and doubles. You played in the Australian Open. You played the French, and how was the U.S. Open? Qualies? You made it in qualies last second round. Was that?
Yeah, I lost first round US Open qualies, and then qualied for Wimbledon.
Qualified for Wimbledon.
Nice.
So all 4 Grand Slams. That's pretty
Killing
badass in my opinion.
Yeah.
She was an amazing college player, and we met you a couple years back. It's probably been like 5 years now. I don't even know.
Time flies.
Time
but
flies. What the
it
heck?
was around the Templeton tournament.
Around the Templeton tournament. And since then, we've been on this journey helping you out with your racket.
Yeah, right? When we first met her a while back,
Yeah.
it was the 2016, kind of the neon greenish yellow Pure Arrow Plus.
Yes.
And it was already at the time when we were like running out of stock, and we were like searching in all places of the warehouse,
Yes.
climbing up in the rafters,
ISO.
looking for old boxes of...
Those are such demand. I literally scaving through boxes, and if people have never seen Tennis Warehouse, it is an actual warehouse. There are imagine Costco, but tennis.
Yeah.
There are rafters.
Yeah, I am so. I remember one time Michelle, you emailed me. You're like, "Oh my God, you won't believe it! I found one here at this place in the warehouse." I was like, "Oh my God!"
Yeah.
They're all dusty, but they're still good.
Hey, we cleaned them up. We
Yeah.
got them fresh,
It's been
Yeah,
so
they were.
Re-gripped them.
when they say that Tennis Warehouse, we will find it for you.
Yeah.
But Amina, talk us through from juniors to college. What has your racket transition look like until now?
Yeah, so when I was younger, probably, I don't know, 10, 11, 12, I used Wilson. Honestly, don't really know why. Probably just because everyone at the time, used Wilson, one of those red ones. I'm not sure what it was called. I also forgot that the next racket I used was a Prince Diablo.
Oh, nice.
Before I used the ones with the whole, yeah, I used that
Nice.
one. So then eventually one of my friends, her dad was a Prince rep, so I moved over to Prince. So I had the Prince Diablo. Then I had the one with the holes once the holes became a big thing. And then I used that all the way through high school and up until college. And then I think probably freshman year of college, I switched to the Pure Drive. Then I had that one for about 4 years, 4.5 years. But I remember when I had the Pure Drive, I could only play with one specific kind of string. I could only play with the Excel because every time I tried a different string, because I think, that one was so soft, and everyone was like, oh, you need to use poly. Poly's the new, thing, whatever. Every time I hit, I was like, tarp, bend, tarp. I was like, oh my God, I can't control this. So I was like, oh, whatever, I'll just play with the Excel. I'll break a string every day, I don't have to pay for it right now. Sorry, coaches. And then eventually I was coaching during the summer, and I'd broken all of my strings. And one of the coaches was like, oh, here you go, you can try one of my rackets. And it was the really old Pure Arrow. So maybe, what was it, 2013, even earlier than that?
Yeah,
maybe?
I think that was when they still had the Arrow Pro Drive.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I hit with it, and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. So then I went to Ann Arbor, because I was coaching, I think 30, 40 minutes outside of Ann Arbor. And one of the guys on the team at the time, Evan King, he had the green one. And I was like, oh, I just tried the old one. I love it. And he was like, here, take this one for a week, whatever. I have a couple other ones. And I also didn't know that his racket was the extended version, which I had no idea that there was such a thing as an extended version. But I was like, oh, whatever, it's a bit longer. I can reach more balls, if I don't move my feet. But I remember I loved the feel of the racket. He had Solinko Tour by in at the time too.
Oh,
so
that explains that
I
too.
used Solinko from then on. Just Solinko at the time, the racket from the time. And since then I've just been I refuse to switch. I can't switch. I love this.
It's funny. There's like two
Yeah, so
categories.
here we are.
There's like two categories of pros. Like we just posted that Bethany Maddox Sands like a video of her picking her racket, and everyone's like, "Wow, I've never seen a pro like try so many rackets and switch." And then we've got like the Aminas and like the Delpos and the ones that are like, "We are not. I'm going to find the very last one, and I am sticking with this for the rest of my life." And,
Yeah, right. And it's like
two
then you get
different
into the whole
styles.
thing with like the top pros and
oh
the
yeah.
whole paint job conspiracies and all
Well,
that. You know, it's like
yeah.
some of them don't want to switch. You know, it's like
What's your current racket situation?
Okay, so I finally, as of maybe like February, March, I finally switched to the like yellow and black, the newer Pure Arrow. But I had to make a few modifications because it was
Okay.
a little bit too heavy for me. So I went into, I think you guys obviously know him, Jay Bosworth. Is that his name?
Mhm.
mhm.
Yeah.
So we went in and he was like, he was like, look, it's really hard to make a racket lighter. Like normally people just make the racket heavier, but he was like, I think what I can do, he looked at my old rackets and he was like, it looks like you only scrape one side of your racket. So he was like, I can take off the head guard, like on the side of the racket where like you don't really kind of mess it up. I can take that off and I can try to get down to like the swing weight that is kind of similar to the green one. So he did that and he chopped off half my head guard. and then I found my new racket.
She basically had her rackets customized in exactly what she was saying. It's hard to reduce the weight of a racket, but more specifically what she was trying to get out of this spec is not only reducing the weight but reducing the swing weight. It's really hard to reduce swing weight particularly. You can reduce weight a little bit by like maybe taking off the grip of the racket and like going on the pallet or maybe going with an overgrip or like other ways of kind of tweaking the handle, but that wouldn't help her in this case because she's trying to reduce the swing weight, and the swing weight is most affected by the weight furthest from your hand. So that's why
Yeah.
they had to go in and surgically remove some of the plastic. Now, people at home, we don't typically recommend. This is sort of a dire emergency situation for a professional player like Amina, who knew what she was getting herself into. If you were to do something like this at home with a racket you might have purchased, like a more recent purchase, as soon as you do something like that, it's going to void the warranty of the racket. Someone like Amina, not so worried about that. You know, it's a 1-year warranty on a manufacturer's warranty, so we can kind of like look. You know, obviously it's situational, but that is one of the only ways you can reduce the swing weight, other than maybe going with like totally changing your string, like going really thin or changing the material. At this point, she loves her tour bite. She doesn't want to mess with that
She
too
loves
much.
her
So
tour bite.
it does make sense, and I do recall her getting her rackets from us and kind of what the swing weights were, and I think what
Yeah.
she was trying to go for. So it
And-
makes sense.
Yeah, because when I originally tried switching a couple years ago too, like Tara she's like, oh, maybe if you take off like the overgrip on the racket and just do a couple of like, or like the normal, whatever the grip is, and just put like a couple of like overgrips, try that. And I was like, it still feels heavy. Now like I can feel the wood. This is hurting my hand, all this stuff. So then honestly, once we did the head guard thing, it felt exactly the same as the other racket to me.
Yes, because taking that handle weight off makes the racket lighter, but you still have the higher swing weight. So it's really just kind of making it more head heavy. Yeah.
Well, and this is a good opportunity to just jump in and debunk the fact that all pro players are using pro stock rackets. As you can hear, Amina has gone through it with her frames. And most recently has had to ask for the MRT service at T-Dub to help her get dialed in. And even further, we're going to hopefully talk her through some potential rackets that she can demo that literally are the same rackets that you guys can buy on Tennis Warehouse that she would eventually hopefully be switching to. So
Yeah.
not everyone that's a pro is using pro stock
Obviously,
rackets.
there's a certain level of which, you might get rackets from the factory versus off a retail shelf, but a lot of pro players still use, whether it's retail or an older version retail.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even like when Marco Skiron was getting Yonex rackets from us, we had our customization guy doing his Yonex VCore 95. So, yeah, off the retail shelf. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So, Amina, why do you want to switch to a standard length racket, or you just think it would be easier in your life?
Well, I can't say that I specifically want to, but I've been told that I probably need to start going a little bit heavier on my racket. And I guess with a longer racket, it's a bit harder to do that. I guess. I don't know. I've been told.
Potentially, yes.
So, yeah. So I'm trying to slowly, I guess, I don't know, switch back to a normal one. And then hopefully get a little bit higher than 280 on my swing weight on my racket.
yeah. And when she says 280, she's talking unstrung. So with the string, that's more like a 310-ish, 310 to 315.
You got that.
She uses a Torbite 16, which is pretty heavy poly. So probably like in the 315 range, but that's pretty low for an extended length racket.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I feel like I need to like slowly do it as well. Like, so I tried I've tried the new Pure Aero already. But the thing is, I feel like every racket that's just off the shelf now is already going to be so much heavier than my racket. So I don't know how to even properly compare my racket now to like what it kind of feels, no? Because it's going to be so different anyways, just weight wise.
Yeah, I think
makes sense.
Talking about swing weight, maybe. And it's hard to say exactly what the swing weight might have been on the demo that you tried, the new 2023 Pure Aero.
Which that definitely has a different feel.
Yeah.
In my opinion, especially to the racket you're hitting with right now.
Yeah.
A lot different.
And just like you said, you kind of preface the question with, going back to a standard length. You did try the standard length Pure Aero demo. It would have been probably ideal in the demo situation if you could have tried the new Pure Aero and the new, an extended version of it.
Yeah.
But they only have the standard length right now. There's more models coming in January, so we'll see. But
yeah, I mean, there is that potential. Can you also explain to everyone, like, how do you play? What's your style? And how tall are you? Because you're tall, girl.
Well, technically, I'm 5'10" and 3/4, but
okay, you're taller than me.
Definitely 6 feet tall on the court. But yeah, so I'm kind of just, I think, a big hitter, big serve, aggressive baseliner kind of. So kind of need, I guess, a bit of power. I like a little bit of spin. I like the feel off the racket too. I don't want it to be too stiff and hard, I think. So yeah, anything that helps my serve.
Which makes sense, an Aero Plus or Pure Drive before that. I can see how she got addicted to those rackets on the serve.
I know.
Okay, so the biggest reason why Troy is here is no joke. He can talk to a person for 5 minutes or see a person hit for 5 minutes, and he literally will have your next racket. It's like a magic trick. He will know the next racket that you should and probably will switch to.
I wouldn't go that far, but
ooh, that's a lot of pressure now.
Yeah, no, I mean, definitely would help try and steer you in a certain direction, but yeah, so
where are we starting? Troy, take it away. Let's get this party started.
And I was going to mention that, and I, haven't seen you play a ton of times live, but just knowing, when you've come here to the Tennis Warehouse court and watch you hit, and you do have that height and that length. I'm thinking just biomechanics, mechanically, you probably don't need the extra half inch on your racket.
Yeah, everyone told me that.
but tennis players are also once you get used to something, you want to stick with it, right? And it's you can make the same case for John Isner. John Isner uses an extended length racket. Does he need it? No way.
Yeah.
But also there's other factors in there other than just the racket being longer and it giving you a boost. Someone for John, he probably uses an extended just because his hands are so big. And I've made that argument before. Guys like Songa who used extended rackets, their hands are so big it feels really good on the two-hander.
Okay,
you get
that makes sense. Yeah,
more grip.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking. I was it feels really nice on the backhand. Kind of, I don't know.
There you go.
When you extend out, yeah, it's tough because once you find that one racket and one feel, it's just I don't know. You always just keep searching for that sort of feel again. So particular.
Yeah,
no, you're not alone in that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of players at all levels. I mean, we've talked about the DR rackets from Yonex, the DR E-Zones. That's an elusive. I have to bring it up because everyone's searching for that exact run. And then they compare the next one to that one. And it's which one's the most like that? And it's at the end of the day, you just kind of want to be when's the last time you actually hit that racket? And is it this perception in your head that this is the perfect racket? Because it might be.
Yeah.
But
for those tennis geeks out there, I'm saying it right now. DR was overrated. Oh, it wasn't that good.
Can I drop my
Sorry.
mic?
Sorry.
Troy said it. Anyways.
Andy
So
loved it.
Andy
people
loved it.
but it wasn't that great.
But the DR extended. No, I'm just kidding. Anyways.
But anyways, so meanwhile, back at the ranch, your racket extended pure arrow, but the swing weight is pretty low based, due to customization. Say if you were going back down to a standard length racket, and we're talking a half an inch here, so it's like sounds very like it's like not huge.
I know
but
it feels like it's so long. Like I feel like I'm holding a ping pong paddle, but I know it's literally like it's so small. Like the actual difference of it.
right? Yeah, it does make a big difference though, and I get it too because I've been using extended for a while now. But a couple rackets that popped in my head, both from the same brand. One of them would be like a sister racket to a Pure Arrow.
Mm-hmm.
The other would be going slightly more in the control and feel direction. But the first two I'm thinking of are head rackets. A lot of players who like Arrow would also like Extreme.
Yes.
Sorry.
Oh no, I have a quick question because you brought up something. I have a quick question for Amina. Is there anything that you want to get out of a racket different than your current racket, or are you looking for like the same?
No, I just same. I don't think I want to mess with I like the way this one feels. So it's like give me that feeling.
Okay,
gotcha.
keep going.
So,
keep going.
So yeah, but I know she did when she was saying like what her game is based on and how she wants also some feel and some comfort too, which typically Pure Drive and Pure Arrow aren't known for. Mm-hmm. That's why I was going to bring up the two rackets. But the Head Extreme is probably like very similar to an Arrow, spin friendly. The Mid Plus Extreme is a standard length. Swing weight's probably a little bit higher than your current one right now, but we could probably search for the lowest, swing weight spec through our MRT service. And spin friendly, easy power, easy to serve with. I mean, you've hit the extremes.
Yeah.
We're really liking the new 2023 models or whatever. Yeah.
The Auxetic.
Yeah, Auxetic technology. But that would be one that I would definitely think about, trying or having you hit it with on court. From that, maybe just a little bit more control and feel than a racket like the Arrow, but very, very popular. Everybody's loving them in the office. A lot of players on tour, but the speeds.
I had a feeling.
So I would definitely have her try the 2022 Speed MP.
Yeah.
And over the years, like on tour, there's been a lot
of. What brand is that?
The Head Speed MP.
Another head, okay.
Yeah. And I've seen a lot of players on tour that were like maybe once Arrow or Pure Drive that went to head that went to Speed. Because it's not like it is definitely more control and feel, but it's not like you're going like Wilson Blade control and feel or Prestige or Radical. It's a good bridge racket, I think.
Yeah. And the feedback on these rackets have been so positive. Like, we are the first to admit the previous ones might not have been the most favorite of many players, but this current iteration, which they all have this Auxetic, they're calling it Auxetic technology in all of them now, has really kind of improved the feel, but like not in a way where it feels, it's not like super flexible or anything, and it's not super stiff. I don't know how to explain it. It feels like solid.
Yeah, because like technically they're not stiff frames,
right?
But they have that crisp type of response that pop while still being pretty comfortable and feel oriented. So, have
you ever hit with a head racket, Amina?
I have once in college for like 10 minutes. I was like, oh my god, it's so heavy. My arm started
so it was probably
dead.
It was probably a Prestige or something. I feel like a lot of people kind of have that.
It was one of the black and white ones at the time. I have no idea what racket that is.
Yeah, it could have been a Speed Pro.
So that would be a Speed.
It's hard to say, but
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What else? You got any other ideas out there?
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff. The next segue would probably be to, and I think even a long time ago when you came to T-Dub and we were on the T-Dub court, because I knew you were using the Arrow Plus at the time, so I was like, I'm a big Yonex fan. Try the Yonex Pluses.
Yeah.
And I remember you hitting with the V. I remember you hitting with the V-Core Plus, the red one, and like you were hitting a really good ball with it. But unfortunately, those rackets, the Plus versions, have really, really high swing weights. It would be going like the total opposite direction.
Yeah.
But if you were to come down to
the thing is with the Yonex, I don't know if I can get over the shape of it. It really, really kills me.
You cannot be superficial right now.
No, I know. I'm the same way. Everyone's always like, well, what is it with Yonex rackets? I'm like, something about the isometric head, and there's a tiny grip shape issue for me. That's the other thing we have to think about.
I know so many people like love the rackets, and I'm sure they're great, but every time I look at it, I'm like, something's wrong with it. I want to like smash it into like a circle.
Well, the head shape is like a little more like, sometimes I say it's like a ski shoe. Is that like, it's a little,
yeah.
But it's
I would
not.
say that the current V cores, the current red Yonex rackets, for most of them, they have almost gotten more oval shape.
Yeah.
Like they're almost like hiding the fact that they're isometric. So, if we did have a demo session or something like that, I would definitely at least try to get you to hit with the V Core 100.
Okay. I mean, I guess I can do that.
But the two, I was gonna say, V Core 100 and the I'll have to spray paint them or do something. But the V Core 100 and the V Core 100 and the E Zone 100 were the two that I would think would be at least worth a try if you were willing, to get past the looks.
Now I'd be curious too, because I feel like they have that dampened feel that she likes. And that's like kind of prevalent through the arrows that she has liked. I feel like that would feel similar, or I don't know.
Definitely could be a good match if we can get past the looks.
Do we have color restrictions?
No, color I don't mind.
But yeah, in the standard length, because the extended length versions of those are both crazy high swing weights. We'd literally have to cut all the bumpers off and do crazy surgery. But the standard length, we could probably get you something more in your wheelhouse, is what we like to say. But getting past Yonex now, if we have to, move past Yonex. Another couple rackets I probably would have you try. I don't know if you've seen them on tour with people or tried them out yet, but the new Solinco frames.
Oh.
They have the blackout racket, which is very pure drive, pure arrowish type of spec. They have an extended, which could be worth trying, but I know you say you want to get away from that. And then they have it in a regular length as well. So the blackout from Solinco.
Have you even heard of that racket?
I've seen a couple people with them, but I've never tried one.
Okay.
Gotcha. But those came to mind. The standard length for sure, going down, pretty manageable weight, swing weight. The extended is swing weight wise is pretty close to the 2019 Pure Aero. So we might have to do some searching through MRT services or whatnot. But anyways, the blackout from Solinco might be worth a shot. I mean, she's already using Solinco strings.
Yeah.
Who knows? You might like the feel of those rackets, and they're very much like easy power, big on serve type of racket. So definitely those came to mind. And then from there, a couple Prince rackets.
Okay.
I was thinking either if you wanted to go with something, I mean, we've had it on the site for a really long time, but the Prince Techstream Warrior would be definitely worth a try.
Is that the racket that Kat uses?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Techstream Warrior 100 or even like one of the Twist Power 100s.
Okay.
Because you're definitely going to get like better feel out of it, I think, with the Twist Powers.
That Twist Power 100, I just sent it to a player and she's about to switch to it. So that could be a good one. And it's like sleek, all black.
Yeah.
Nice
looking rackets.
Ooh, I don't think Tara's ever hit that one. Yeah.
So those ones, there's two specs on the 100 version. There's a X100 and X100 Tour. The weight of the Tour would actually be more like to your spec, but it does have a higher swing weight, closer to upper 320s.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd probably be best in the situation if you did want to demo that. I would probably get you the X100 and customize it up a little bit. But it's easy because it's a lighter. I think it's like 290.
Yeah.
And then the swing weight's really low. So it's nice having that lower spec, and it's easy to customize up for her rather than trying to cut material off the racket. And then speaking of that, with Prince, also another racket that I would probably mention for an improvement. It's decent power, but definitely more control and feel would be like the Techstream Tour.
Okay.
100, and we also have the 290.
The 290, yeah.
So that could easily be customized into her spec.
Nice.
So those are some options.
What are we thinking? Initial thoughts? Any feedback?
Sounds good. No kidding. I mean,
she's like, send demos.
Oh, I know. Troy, Troy, you know all the info about all of them. Jeez.
I told you.
Yeah, and I'm not even done with my list. Like, you know,
See?
because like I didn't even mention the Dunlop SX.
I was
I know
actually
you
wondering.
were like, oh, I have a couple, and then you're like, bam, 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 bam. I was like, holy cow.
Yeah, and so I mean, but like anybody that knows racket specs or whatever, our racket experts. There's a lot of guys here that could list you off rackets that are similar to the Pure Arrow. The real part is going to be more of like customizing them to your spec, and also like if I had to pick one for you right now,
Which would you pick with her? With knowing that she doesn't like the shape of the Yonex.
Yeah. I really don't know in my heart if I can get over that.
and we could stay away from Yonex if we have to,
Yeah.
but
I feel like I just broke your heart a little bit when I
I
said
know,
that. I'm
me
sorry.
no, I like Yonex frames, but honestly, like I feel pretty, and maybe you'd probably hate them, but like I feel pretty confident in one of the two head rackets right now.
Interesting.
Like either the Extreme, if you really want to stay something close to an Arrow, but I really like. I'm feeling good. A lot of people are feeling good about the speeds,
Yeah.
and I feel like I could, customize, or we could get your spec right, and maybe kind of, dial you in with the speed racket. But all that's just like me thinking like what might be good for your game, but then when you get on court and you hit a ball, you could be like, oh,
it
this
can
is
be so
trash.
different sometimes. Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
trash. Like
yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
and I
knows?
like normally know right away too. I'm like, when you guys hit, like, can you like hit a couple balls and be like, oh, I don't like it, and then be like, oh, actually, it's growing on me, or are you also
Oh, for
like, oh my god,
sure.
no? Oh, see, I'm like, no, I know this is horrible. Like, I just won't even give it any. If I don't feel it in the beginning, I'm like, no, goodbye.
yeah.
So
And-
it's gotta be dialed with the right strings and everything. Otherwise, you're stuck.
then again, too, I can understand that you're a professional
Yeah.
playing tennis for a living, so to speak.
Yeah,
We're play
playing
testers.
tennis
Where
for-
our job
for
is to make
playtesting.
give rackets a chance for a
Yeah.
month or
Yeah,
whatever.
that's true. That's true.
So
I actually, just from your list, am like thinking the Slinko racket could be a good fit for her also.
the Blackout 300. Yeah,
but I mean, obviously, this will be a fun demo for you. But I think that sounds like promising. Also, since I don't know, those rackets have done really well, and they were designed to be competing with all these rackets from the top brands. So
yeah.
that was a good call.
Well,
I
do
wouldn't have thought of it.
You guys have like the yellow one, like the yellow Pure Arrow still regular, so I can compare. Like, so I'm gonna guess that one probably feels similar to the extended one. It's just a bit shorter, and then I can compare like all of those. Or does that not make any sense?
You're talking about like your yellow Pure Arrow that you have, the extended version. Do we still have it in the standard length? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah,
oh,
we
yeah,
still
because
have some.
that's an option too, obviously.
No,
But,
I
like,
meant
to
to
get,
then
like-
compare like the feels and stuff.
Oh yeah.
like as
yeah.
a control
yeah.
stick.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll bring her back down
Yeah.
to standard length. Bring her back down to
First, we
earth,
gotta
and
baby
then
steps.
use
Standard
that as a
length,
control
yeah.
versus the other rackets. Is what I think she's
Yeah.
going for.
And then, as
Yeah.
Troy kind of mentioned, the extended Pure Arrow, the new Pure Arrow extended, will come out in January. So we're not that far. But if you didn't like the feel of the updated one, or you didn't jive with it, it's probably not going to be there on just a half inch longer.
Yeah.
I don't think, maybe, but that's just my.
It's just so tough to compare when it's like the swing weight is probably like 30-40 grams heavier, I'm like, oh, it feels nice, but ooh, after 30 minutes my arm's dead. So it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. So yeah, those are all good options. There was a couple others too. Kinda
Yeah,
like-
what were they? Let's hear.
Well, I definitely wanted to throw in the Dunlop. Too.
Yes,
The SX
Yeah.
series.
I think that's worth trying.
SX 300 is a good one. Has a slightly different feel, a little more comfort built in.
hmm
And then, there's also the Wilson options like the new Ultra.
The new, yeah.
Could be worth a shot. The other one from their line is the Burn, which is like something they're not really promoting at like the top of their line
Right.
anymore. It's kind of like we kept it around, but it is the thing with that one is it's definitely power and spin, but those Burns typically have high swing weights, so that might kind of
yeah.
put it at the back of the list. And then even maybe even something from Technofiber like the TFX series.
Okay.
I mean,
So
I'm
if,
really liking Technofiber lately. So
if we send you like 4 demos and none of them work, we have like fallbacks.
yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a lot of options. Holy cow.
I know. And do you like, you haven't really, I mean, you've switched because you've had to, but do you have a strategy with how you're going to try these rackets, or you already mentioned like you hit it and you know?
Yeah, I mean, like the first thing I think I want to do is just slowly get adjusted to like the normal racket, I think, like lengthwise, because I mean, I feel like that's like when I hit, like stand there and hit, I'm like, okay, you know, it's fine. But I think once like start moving around in points, I can feel like a little bit different. And then, yeah, I think I just want to, you know, find the similar feel of the racket I have now. I don't want to like mess with that too much, especially since, you know, I'm still kind of technically in the middle of season, but I have like a little window here where I have 2 or 3 weeks. So it's like, if I have time now, you know, might as well start now than at the end of the year.
Yeah. And what grip size are you using right now?
A quarter.
Oh, yeah. You see, I feel like that's, well, you do you, girl. You do you.
Why is that? What,
no, because you're
tall.
You're tall and you have big feet. I know you have. I would assume do you have big hands? Like that's a weird question.
I used to have the 3/8, but it's like felt massive. Like I think I actually like it thinner, so I feel like I can kind of like get around the ball a bit more. I think the thicker like feels harder for me. I don't know.
That's a thing.
That's the opposite. No. What it could be.
No. I would say like our office is pretty split. There's some people that use a smaller grip, and then there's some not bigger. Well, some do use bigger, but then yeah. So there's just been an interesting. There's been a trend going to smaller grips. So I was just curious.
Yeah, I think I'd rather have it thinner, and then I can always grip it a bit thicker. You know, that is kind of what I want instead of, I guess. Well, yeah, I already do that with my rackets. I want to go lighter, so I guess with the grip, I should try to be a little more standard.
Yeah, and there's a lot to do with that grip size thing, like style wise.
Yeah,
you know, whether you like it bigger or smaller. Rafa's how tall is Rafa? Like 6'2" ish.
Yeah,
and he plays with a quarter.
Yeah.
Then from there, I'm thinking even deeper, like the whole grip size or the grip shape podcast we did.
Yeah,
Babolat tends to run big.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's
so
true. Okay.
For her, it might feel a little big, anyways. You know.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. So.
True.
But typically, like classic players, more classic style, whether it's serve and volley or like more flatter strokes, tend to like a bigger grip because there's less risk going on and more stabilization. The bigger grip gives you better stability.
That makes sense.
And then the more, you know, modern game, whippy topspin, you know, smaller grip makes it easier to do the flicky stuff.
Yeah,
so,
the flippy stuff.
It is what it is.
I'm learning so much.
Oh my gosh, right? Great. Well, I think that our next step is to send you out some demos and probably some tour bite. What gauge are you using, just out of curiosity?
16.
The normal 16.
Okay. 16 tour bite, and get those out to you so you can get them strung up the way you like it with a stringer that you know.
And some of these we could probably get strung, you know,
we can string them for you.
Since this is like
Troy's in charge.
This is like pro player customization.
Oh my god, so special. Thanks, guys.
Do you have a special overgrip that you like?
No, I'm good.
Okay, we got you. Okay, like I'm very invested in this process. So we are I would assume for the 4 racket, like if we sent you 4 rackets, aside from the standard Pure Aero that matches the current one that you're using, that plus a Speed MP, Extreme MP, I say a Solinco Blackout and maybe a Solinco Blackout Extended, or Solinco Blackout, and what would the 4th be?
And both of the Yonex. No, I'm just kidding.
And one Yonex that we paint.
I'm gonna be like, so weird, package never arrived, so sorry.
I know, right? I kind of want to try, because it would be cool to like I said, with like a lower spec and like raise it to her. Maybe like the Prince Twist would be cool.
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
Something like that.
We're putting Troy in charge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you guys know more than I do, so I trust you guys.
Yeah.
We're invested.
It'd be nice if we had like Amina here on our teed up court.
Would it be great if Amina came to this area and played a match? Yeah. And she played a whole tournament. Well, it would be cool if you lived here. But if you guys want to move to California, that's cool. I'd be down. Right. You could drink wine with us all the time. Well, you're busy on tour right now, so you cannot drink wine. No, I don't know.
In training, no.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm like in an episode of The Bachelorette, and it's like, what racket is gonna get my final rose right now?
You'd be surprised how many times we have final rose mentions in the podcast. So you're exactly
funny.
right. That's what's happening. This is gonna be like a to be continued episode because we are gonna keep checking back in with you, and hopefully we'll be here for the final reveal.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
After
some
you go meet
days.
the parents.
Oh my
hometown.
gosh.
Yeah, the hometown date.
Maybe she could even like watch the customization of her future oh my god. Okay, now we're getting in the weeds. Like I
Popping
said,
off the head guard?
no, none of that. None of that. I think that's about it though. Like that's where we're at, right? Is there anything else we need to talk about?
We talked about her string, her rackets. You still using Nike Vapors for shoes? Are we gonna do a shoe selection next time?
Yeah, I have see, it's very hard because I have very big feet. So some shoe companies don't make like my size. I'm women's 12. So
Do you ever go over to men's?
So
men's
I
shoes?
I used to wear men's shoes for the longest time up until maybe like a year and a half ago. And then I saw that Nike had size like 12s, and Tara was kind of like, why don't you try that? It's a women's shoe, and like your foot's a bit more narrow anyways. So, because I used to remember kind of like my foot would flip around a little bit, but I was like, oh, whatever, I'm used to it. So now since I've gone to like these, like they feel, they're fine. So yeah, I'm back to actually being in a women's size shoe.
Are you're wearing
Court,
the
Zoom
NXTs though? Yeah, the Court NXT. Well, if you sent me that picture of the two left shoes.
No, I have the Vapor X. Is that the one?
That's
The
what
one that
you were using.
Because it's called the Nike Court
Zoom NXT.
Zoom NXT, right?
No, I have the. Oh my god!
I'm gonna resend you this photo.
But you're not using the Vapor
What
X
the
anymore.
two lift? I'm using the one. Whatever was
Vapor
the one that
Pro?
used to be the Fed shoe, but then they redid it.
The Vapor.
Vapor Pro?
Yeah.
Vapor Pro.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Vapor Pro.
Yeah.
Yeah, which most people transition from Vapor X to Vapor Pro.
Yeah. But I think the other one, was it the NXT that I sent you a picture of? Is that what it is?
Yes.
I think that one's actually comfier.
Yes.
But the thing in the back sometimes, like the back's a bit different. Like you kind of like lean back and it like you shift. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Does it have like a
I don't
little bit
think
of a
I'm
rock to it?
Yeah, it has a
Yeah.
little bit of like a little bump. So that took a little while to get used to. So I could only use those when I was in clay because I didn't have my size. But now I've kind of gone back to the other one because that feels a bit weird to me. But they're definitely comfier, I think, than the ones that I wear.
Yes. Agreed.
But
you're right.
you tested the Court Zoom NXT.
What's that?
You tested the Court Zoom
Yeah.
NXT. Yeah,
Yeah.
like did you notice like a heel to toe thing or any like a push out, like because some shoes kind of have that rocker to them, right?
Yeah, and remember the GP Turbo and the Zoom Zero had it more
Yeah.
extreme, I think, than
Okay.
this current one. But I can see where that would come into play compared to a Vapor that I feel
Yeah.
Vapor Pro is like
So
flat on the
connected,
ground.
yeah.
And it was
Yeah,
like
it's just,
very
like, completely flat.
yeah. And there's like no cushion, not a ton of cushioning. It's just
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I wouldn't say they're comfy, but they work.
Well, yeah. I think there might be some cool stuff coming for 2023. That's all I'm saying.
Ooh.
Like more Pure
Hopefully.
Arrows and more
Yeah.
Nike shoes.
Yeah, exactly.
One
Yeah.
thing is I had to wear the Ubersonics at one point for clay. I was wearing just like the men's ones, but they don't have size 12 for women. So they have 11 and a half, but I
Yeah.
guess maybe it could be a bit bigger because all shoe companies are a bit different with their sizes, but just didn't really feel like ordering an 11 and a half and trying it and then having to maybe return it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Hopefully, I know that's tough. The women's shoe. So there are some brands that don't make above a women's 10, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, it is. It's tough out here. 'Cause every
discrimination.
time I see like a 12 on your guys' website, I'm like, oh my god, I'm
Buy
calling
now.
right away.
You have like the alert on. There's a 12. Yeah.
Well, I think
I'll
at
keep
one
an extra
point when
eye
I was-
out.
I think at one point when I was calling and I kept ordering men's shoes, and I think someone was kind of like, is this person ordering shoes for someone else? And then Michelle, you were like, no, you have to make a note. You're like, no, she has really big feet.
Oh yes, because like if you're getting
Yeah.
these sort of like player discount,
Yeah.
like, you got to be buying it for yourself, not for your
Like, I always
coach,
swear
not
they're
for your
me.
cousin. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Also, I have to mention, I have your Wikipedia page up right now, and there's a picture of you with space buns, and I think we need this to come back.
Oh,
Wait,
what?
So
Space
cute.
Buns?
Oh no, it's not Space Buns.
Oh, it
it
does
looked
look
like
like it from here,
Space
though.
Buns, doesn't it?
Is that like Wimbledon?
Have you ever done the Space Buns? The two.
Like Space Buns as in like 2 buns? Oh my god, no, I would look horrible.
No, I think it would be great. I was like, it looks like so it's like a picture from Wimbledon, but there is your bun and
And then like hair
But
flying out.
clearly my bun must look like a mess then.
no, but behind it is like the curtain for the court. So it looked like
Oh, I thought that was her hair. Like flipped
see,
up.
it looks like
Anyways,
her hair.
Your technique and your two-handed backhand follow through is
Yeah,
beautiful,
you look
so.
great.
Looks
That's-
good? Okay, that's
yeah.
good. I just need to fix the hair part of it then.
The hair is great. Okay, well, we are going to get you some demos. We're going to get you hitting these new rackets, and we are going to ask you to probably come back and talk to us and talk us through your playtest. And we will see you hopefully in a couple weeks. Also, I don't know when this episode will
Yeah.
air, so it might air before or after you make a decision. But what else? Is that it? I don't think there's
Yeah.
anything else.
I'm just looking forward to her trying some new sticks.
Yeah.
Hopefully this will just like take her game and just keep rising.
Yeah,
you
watch
know?
out, 2023. It's Amina with a standard length racket.
Oh my
Maybe,
god.
maybe she hasn't cut the
You know
cut
what
the
the
extended
weirdest part
yet.
almost is when I go to pick up a ball on the ground, I'm like going and I'm like, where's the ball? Because normally my racket kind of like hits the ground. And
Oh
I'm like,
my
oh my gosh,
gosh.
it's so odd.
That is funny.
Well, you
but-
got to stop doing that anyways because your bumper's not there. So
Oh,
yeah.
that's true. Fair enough. Fair
you're
enough.
gonna have to start, bending over,
I actually have to bend. Oh
Doing
my
the-
god.
the
Use
Rafa
those
footy
legs.
action. You know,
Isn't
that's
that
pretty.
the worst when like coaches are like, use your legs, bend at the knees. Oh goodness. Well, Amina,
Oh,
thanks for
okay.
chatting with us and
No,
hanging
thanks
with
for
us.
having me. Thanks for trying to help me out with this.
Oh yeah, we're gonna
we
get
love
there.
doing this stuff. So this is like these are fun projects, and I'm super excited to get the demos in your hand because I know Troy gets like excited to like get them all ready and send them over. So it's just part of the fun of like finding the right stuff for the right players and all that is always a good time. So
It's like those videos where we're saying we're gonna get you dialed in, and we say dialed in like 100 times. Dialed in,
Yeah.
dialed in.
Amina's gonna be dialed in.
It's gonna be right in your wheelhouse.
I'm gonna have to make like a little like notepad.
Yes.
Down for each little racket. What I think about it.
Yeah,
We're gonna need written notes and
we're gonna
like-
have to even put the demos inside like bubble wrap in the plastic bag, and we'll like get like a
notepad.
we'll get like a EB logo so she can feel like Raj or like
yeah,
like the priority one. You take them out of the bag, all
Put the full
customized.
spec stickers on.
Yeah.
It will
Oh
be
man, I have
awesome.
made it then.
Let's
made
go.
It.
Let's
Damn,
go.
she's priority one now. No, she's teed up.
Teed up one.
Yeah.
Okay, we got your back, and everyone else listening, we got you too. So if you have a specific racket that you're looking to transition out of and into something new, feel free to let us know because we're always happy to do these sort of chats. We think they're super fun, and stay tuned to see what Amina switches to for the 2023 season. I can't believe that it's
The end of the
September.
year.
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
can't
God.
believe
I
it.
know, right?
So that's it. That's all she wrote for now. To be continued. Thank you for joining us. If anyone has questions, email us at podcast@tennis-warehouse.com. And until next time, happy hitting.
Bye guys. Thanks for having me.